So I've got this friend called Jack, known him for quite a long while. He plays guitar, he plays bass as well. He recently got a new bass and he said to me, "Do you want my old one?" To which I said, yes. So here it is. It's a Marlin by Hohner. Don't know much about it, so if you do happen to know anything about it, let me know. Be interested to find out a bit more about these basses. I'm going to take it apart completely. It needs a bit of work doing on it, and it'll be nice to just see how far we can take this apart so we can look at all the bits on it. Here we go. Let's take a closer look at this bass before we take it to bits. We've got the knobs missing on here, so we're going to have to replace those. And up at the other end we've got a big chip out of the headstock, so I have to do something with that. Also on the back of the neck there's quite a few dents, quite big ones there, so I'm not quite sure what I can do with that yet, but find something to do with it. Also the action is very strange on this. It's as low as it can go on the bridge, but it's still very high, so we might have to shim the neck or do something to rectify that as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the neck from the body of the bass. Got 4 screws in the back and a plate here that stops the screws pulling in. So that's the type of screw that we've got there. There's the neck off. See the truss rod adjustment at this end. On the headstock here we've got the machine heads. We're going to have a go at getting those off. Got to get the nut off the front, and then a couple of screws on each one in the back. Let's just do the nut first. I'm going to use a spanner so that I don't slip with pliers or anything and mess up the head stock. Just loosen them off. There's the nut that goes on it. It's got a long shaft on it that goes through into the wood. And then there's a washer underneath. Flip it over. All we need to do is just get these little screws off. And there we have it. Machine heads come out. The other thing that's on the front of here is the little washer that holds down the strings. It's got a bit of a rusty screw on it, so I'll probably have to replace that when I put it all back. Seems to be the same size screw as the other one that held the machine heads on. There's not a lot else that really can come off this. I could, if I was going to replace the nut, I could knock that off. I could take the frets off, but there seems to be enough on them to be usable, so I'll probably just dress them, or maybe even level them as well. Okay, I'm going to have a look at the truss rod and see. So that's the end of one of these truss rods. And that's about it for the neck at the moment. Can't really take anything else off that. So now we come to the body, and there's a few bits we can take off this. We can take the bridge off. I'm going to take the end pin, strap, buttons off both ends. Take all of that off, see what's under there. There's nothing on the back that we can do. So I'm going to start by taking the scratch plate off. Again, I'm going to use a spanner to take these off so I don't scratch. There's the back of the scratch plate. So I've got our pickups mounted there. Let's take the bridge off. When we get that off, we're going to see how they've mounted the screen wire that goes through from the pots and the pickups. Okay, so there it is, along there. Just presses up against the bridge and goes through from here. It's not really pressed into the lacquer and squashed down. So that's all it does, it's just sitting there. It's not fixed to the bridge in any way, it's just screwed down really tight. Okay, let's get on to the pickups. Got a couple of screws either side. Let's see if these are mounted on springs or whether they're just straight in. Might have some foam underneath as well. Okay, there's the cover coming off. There's the screws that go straight through. Okay, there's the first pickup. Yeah, straight onto a piece of foam. Let's get the other one off. again onto another piece of foam. Let's just take a look at the wiring on this. We've got the pickup that's closest to the neck and the one that's closest to the bridge here, and they're wired in series. We've got a wire going from that one to there, and then you've got that wire going off to one of the pots, and on the other one the same thing, the wire going onto the pots, so they're done in series. So then the two wires come up here to the first pot, and one of them goes to the screen wire, the other one goes into the pot there, and then through a capacitor, and the other side of the pot here goes to the jack socket, and then the screen wire goes to the other potentiometer and then to the other side of the jack socket. And then the two potentiometers, one's volume, one's tone. The capacitor joins those two up. So let's just take all that out. So I'm going to pull out the screen wire there, and that will let me take the pickups off. It's got 2 bits of foam. Now all we've got left are the strap buttons. Let's see how they fix those in. It's a rather bent looking screw, so that's obviously had a bit of abuse in its time. Okay, let's do the other one. There we go, that's the other one. So there we have it, all in bits. So I've just laid out everything now, so we can have a little fly through and see what we've got. So we've got the end pin there, strap button. We've got the bridge and the 5 screws that hold the bridge on. There's the underside. So then we had the wire, the screen wire, which was under the bridge, going to here, jack socket, tone control, volume control. Moving up through the pickups, so we've got the pickup covers, we've got the split pickup, and we've got the foam underneath. Moving through, we've got the other strap button, we've got the end of the truss rod for the adjustment, we've got the neck plate held in by 4 screws, the washer that holds the strings down, into the 4 machine heads, so this is the base all taken apart. The neck, we've got the neck pocket, and the space for the truss rod end. We've got the cavity that's been routed out for the pickups, and the tone and the volume control.